What's up, Knicks fans, and welcome back to the Sheer Brilliance Podcast. Exciting day. I want to welcome you all back to the Sheer Brilliance Podcast. We had a pretty decent win last night. 30-point win. This feels good, man. I know we don't have much to cheer for outside of the development of our players, but that is good enough. So wanted to hop on because for those of you who are new to the channel, you have to understand that after every New York Knicks victory, there is, to the Sheer Brilliance Podcast, the Knicks Daily Edition.
Knicks Daily Edition.
So, Knicks Daily Edition, just to kind of give you a quick overview, if you are from New York, then you know that the staples of New York are the deli, all right? Or the bodega, depending on where you are, which is pretty much anywhere in New York, all right? But if you're visiting New York for the first time, or if you haven't visited but you just heard, something that's important to New Yorkers' life is the deli, all right? So this portion, or this edition of my segment, is called Knicks Daily Edition.
Knicks Daily Edition.
Okay? So there's only 4 things on the menu at the Knicks Deli, okay? First, there's a bacon, egg, and cheese. And a bacon, egg, and cheese, in terms of the game and the win, simply means who are the 3 players that contributed to this magnificent staple of New York, all right? So this magnificent victory, we're going to look at the 3 players that contributed to the game, to this win. Who are the bacon, egg, and cheese of the game, okay? Next on the menu is the dollar slice. Basically, the dollar slice is the classic, all right? So who is that consistent, component to the game that really helped us get over the top? So I'll identify the player who is the dollar slice of the victory, okay? Next is the chopped cheese, okay? The chopped cheese is that thing that's relatively new, but you know that thing be busting, right? That thing be busting. So we want to find out who was either new to the game, didn't really get playing time before, but get more playing time now, or new to the team, all right, and really had an impact, made contributions to get this win. So we're going to look at who's the chopped cheese, but you can't have any of them. You can't have any of those meals on the menu without a quart of water to wash it down with, all right? Quart of water goes to basically the person that really had a phenomenal quarter or who incrementally impacted each quarter to help us seal the deal on this victory. All right. So that makes up the menu in terms of Knicks Deli. We're going to go through, I'm going to award who gets what, and then we're going to get to the last component of this segment called Nah, Son, You Wildin'. All right. So the Nah, Son moment of the game. So we'll look at whether it's a play of the game or something surrounding the game or the Knicks, where we just have to sit back and be like, nah, son, nah, you wildin'. Okay. So that's how Knicks Daily Edition goes. Man, we're coming up to the end of this journey in terms of the regular season. Not what we expected. We really expected at this point of the year, at this point of the season, to really be looking at the playoffs. But instead, we are now fixated on the draft. But I still say, man, it's a different type of feeling. The feeling that I have is not necessarily this feeling of despair. Feeling that I have is really kind of excitement in terms of our future. You know what I mean? And what I would call the core 4. All right? Yes. You know I'm a Yankees fan. But the Knicks have their own core 4. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. But let's get into it. All right? So, first, we're going to look at who are the bacon, egg, and cheese of the game. All right? So the 3 players that really were the perfect combination to help us secure this win are RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi mother flipping Toppin. Give a round of applause for the bacon, egg, and cheese. That's right. So, really quickly, man, RJ Barrett once again. I think RJ Barrett is really putting together the perfect season for his 3rd year. What we hope and expect from any player that's on our team that's supposed to have potential, any player with as high of a drafting pick that he was, the 3rd pick, I really was looking to see if he would take that next step. And he really did. to be able to be at the point where he's averaging 21 points a game at this point, and it really looks like that he'll be able to lock up at least 20 points per game for the season, which was his stated goal. I think that's something to be commended. RJ Barrett last night had a stat line of 27 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. You know what I mean? Great, pretty solid all around game. You know, and it really can get lost in as big of a blowout that we really enjoyed. 30 points, 30-point win this Knicks team was able to put together. A lot could be said about that, but RJ Barrett, man, continues to grow before our eyes. Once again, I mentioned, you know, I tend to watch the game over again from the opposing, the op standpoint, right? So I tend to watch the game from the MSG broadcast to start it, but then I'll take a look at the opposing team's broadcast and listen to their commentators and how their commentators speak about our team, speak about our players, and what they see from their perspective. And what's been consistent over the past few games, man, has really been how the other team talks about RJ Barrett. The other team talks about RJ Barrett as a budding superstar. You know, they really talk about, you know, stopping him and his points of attack. And that feels good. That feels good to hear. It feels good to see that we have a young player that they consider a young player. You guys remember his first 2 years, it was always a struggle for respect. Almost seemed like at every instant, you know, somebody was taking the opportunity to disrespect RJ Barrett. And it was a little bit, you know, disrespectful. You know, we and Knicks fans, let it be known, you know, we felt that way as well. We really felt as if they weren't watching the games, they weren't watching his progress. But I think that's changed. I think people are paying attention. I think they're watching tape of RJ. And I think we're looking at, in his 4th year, RJ will be an all-star. So the bacon on the bacon, egg, and cheese today is RJ Barrett. Next up is Emmanuel Quickley. Quick. 4th quarter quick. Emmanuel Quickley, man, is continuing to change the minds of any of his doubters about his position and his ability to play as a point guard in this league. You know, you have to give credit to Tom Thibodeau. Coach Tibbs, man, was the one to see it because I damn sure didn't see it. You know, I really was looking at it like, you know, IQ is a microwave. IQ is, you know, Vinnie Johnson or Lou Williams. Perfect to come off the bench as, you know, 6 man, going to give you some points. I didn't think his handle was tight enough to be able to play the point guard position, but he has really disproven all of that, and he's done it progressively. He's recaptured his shot, his mid-range game where that floater is on point. But there are 2 things that absolutely stood out other than his impressive historic stat line. And let's put that out there. He had 20 points last night. He had 10 rebounds, and he had 10 assists off the bench. IQ did not start. He got a triple-double off of the bench. Let me get a shout-out to the shooters. Love the fact that we got shooters, okay? So IQ, man, outside of that triple-double, 2 things that absolutely continue to impress me about him is his defense and his commitment to playing defense, and his rebounding ability. Once again, the man rebounds from the point guard position is something that I'm absolutely a fan of. I 100% loved it when Jason Kidd was on our team. He was one of the best rebounding point guards at his age. You know, when he came to us, he was about the same age as Santa Claus, okay? At his age, he was able to rebound, get the ball out, really kind of spark the fast break. And Quick does the same thing. That's why you see a lot of chemistry between Quick and Obi. You know, and I think that may even be his best friend on the team, which is going to suck if any of them have to be moved, all right? But that's neither here nor there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I am committed to our core 4, okay? But once again, Emmanuel Quickley, the tight dribble, the tightened up dribble, the vision that he displays, 10 assists is huge off the bench. Defense that he plays at the point guard position and his ability to rebound. Emmanuel Quickly, you are the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese. All right? Now, who is the cheese? We already know it's Obi Toppin. Hands together for Obi mother flipping Toppin. Obi Toppin has arrived. All right? He's always arrived. And I know Knicks fans will argue until the cows come home that it was just a matter of time, Tibbs. Gives him the minutes so that he can prove it. But what we've seen, let's just really quickly look at last night's stat line. He had 20 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 block shot. All right? Several things that stand out about Obi. First and foremost, no matter how many minutes Obi gets, Obi is efficient. He's been that way all season. He is efficient. So it's great to see that even with more minutes, that efficiency may have dipped just a little bit, but his production continues to still stand out. He is a fast player. He thinks fast. He sees the game fast. He plays fast. He's a good finisher on the fast break. His 3-point shooting has improved this season. All right? Has absolutely improved this season. Great to see. Phenomenal to see that we have young players on this team who are committed to putting in the work. Can't say that enough. When you have young players who don't get enamored with the city life, everything that New York has to offer, it's a big deal when Emmanuel Quickly breaks out shades and a little bit of swag at the conference, and we're just like, oh, look at our boy, look at our boy. We don't look at it as like he's going to Hollywood. We don't look at these players like, as much as I wanted LaMelo Ball, and as much as I still think he would have been able to handle New York, man, the moment he got his own money, it was a wrap. You know what I mean? He still plays the game, and all of those things that were spoken negatively against him as precautionary tales didn't materialize. Melo is the real deal. But for him to be in New York and LeVar, you know, would be front row next to Spot, it really would have been a circus. But Obi Toppin, man, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, they have handled New York. They have handled the New York spotlight admirably. So, I mean, Obi is next. Obi is absolutely next. And I love it because I am a San Francisco 49er fan. So in terms of football, my team is San Francisco 49ers, right? And something that we've been dealing with over the past 2 seasons have absolutely been the transition at quarterback from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance, all right? And it's been a phenomenal problem to have because we have a quarterback who is capable, not outstanding, not superstar level, but fully capable of winning in the league. But on the bench, we have someone who has the potential to be a star, who has the potential to be a superstar, all right? And it was great that 1 or 2 seasons could be spent sitting behind a Super Bowl, a quarterback who was able to take his team to the Super Bowl, okay? Quarterback who sat behind the greatest of all time, the GOAT, and learned from the GOAT, all right? A quarterback who is, all he does is win in the NFL. And I liken that situation to our situation. Call Julius what you call Julius what you want. Julius has showed the ability to be successful in this professional league. He showed that ability. He's shown the ability to be successful in this professional league on the brightest stage. He's shown that ability. Now in the playoffs, hypocrisy. Not necessarily, okay? But still, it's a great veteran for Obi to have in terms of the work that's being put in. In terms of the mindset, I think that's where the connection and the friendship between Obi and IQ is going to solidify. The beauty of RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin are they have connections to New York. So they almost carry that New York mindset. The beauty of Emmanuel Quickly is he has that similar mindset because he played at Kentucky. You know what I mean? And he's been on that stage. Now Julius, the same thing in terms of the college that he played at, but just the mental makeup is just not conducive to New York. All right, absolutely conducive to the league. Big Jules, if you watch this, we know that you are a star in this league, but in terms of New York, it can become too much. All right, but I think Obi is just ready. I think Obi's ready to step in. Obi is the type of player that can develop into a player that has his own unique game, but where he's striving now is still being able to get his within the flow of the offense. And has a lot of comfortability playing with IQ, playing with RJ Barrett. That second unit is fast. It's fast and it's offensive. All right, and it's high paced. It's the way the league is playing now. And there is a benefit to have two styles where you have the slow down half court game that usually stands out and helps you win in the playoffs, and then the up tempo, fast paced, fast break style that usually succeeds in the regular season. Last time we had that in the 99 2000 season, where we made that historic run as the eighth seed all the way to the finals. That first unit was LJ, was Patrick, you know what I mean? Boy, but when that second unit came in with Spreewell, man, it was off to the races. They were high flying, they were burning past other teams' second unit, and they were putting up those points. And it could have been that way, with us, but things just didn't fall right until the second half of the season. By then it was too late. But Obi continues to improve before our eyes, man. 20 points once again, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 block shot. Just that trio of RJ, Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi Toppin as the bacon, egg, and cheese at Knicks Deli. Celebrate them on the Knicks Deli edition, all right? So next we want to go to the next item on the menu, which is the dollar slice. All right? Man, that dollar slice is so classic. It's so reliable. All right, all you need is that thing. You just need a dollar, get you a dollar slice, fill you up, you good. And the dollar slice of the game is going to be Alec Burks. Alec Burks. So let's give a round of applause for the dollar slice. Alec Burks, brother, you have been consistent. You have finished off the season the best way that we would hope for any of our players to finish up the season as strong as possible. I know many of us fans have a problem with you taking some time away from some of our young players as a result of it, but we know that's not your fault. That's coach's call, okay? And coach sits there on the podium, and he sat there explaining, how there's certain plays in the game, and people have to know their roles and the positions, this, that, and the third. And he's sitting in front of the media saying that, but if he could hear Knick fans, for the most part, that's exactly what we were saying while we were listening to him. We knew you were talking to us, Tibbs. You know what I mean? But if I were to give you grades, Alec Burks, man, in those huge wins that we had a win in Chicago. I believe it was Minnesota that we played. If I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. I think I am. Sacramento and Chicago. Man, big time shots. I think your game, in terms of the fast pace that we're able to play, if you were to plug that in, I think your game is tailor-made for the playoffs, which is why I'm not sure if you're going to be with the New York Knicks next season, because I really think they're going to be teams who are inquiring into Alec Burks' services. But for the purpose of this game, man, the dollar slice goes to Alec Burks. 19 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Absolute strong finish to the season. He was 3 of 3 from 3-point range in this game. He was 6 of 7 in terms of his field goals. I'd give him a C+ or a B- in terms of the season. I don't think that there were really games within the season where we thought the point guard position cost us the game, like Alec Burks specifically. I think when we had other point guards in the past, like last year, we really looked at it like, yo, you really cost us the game, bro. But I don't really think there was many instances where that was Alec Burks. I think we simply had a preference for it to be IQ, so IQ could get that experience under his belt, and we could see how the team would run with IQ at point, and he can get those reps. So Alec Burke, Dollar Slice, my brother, you get it here at the Knicks Deli edition of the Sheer Brilliance podcast.
Knicks Deli edition.
All right. Next up on the menu is chopped cheese. And really quickly, who else going to get the chopped cheese but Mitchell Robinson? Hand of applause. Put your hands together for Mitchell Robinson. Before we go into the chopped cheese for Mitchell Robinson, please, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Sheer Brilliance podcast. I appreciate all of your support. I'm trying to grow the channel, but I'm trying to be more consistent. And I know that's the key to growing the channel. So I want to thank you if you are visiting me for the first time for doing so. And if you are returning to the channel, I want to thank you for coming back and continuing to support Sheer Brilliance. All right. But chopped cheese goes to Mitchell Robinson. Once again, I think Mitchell Robinson has been instructed very well by his agents. I think he has followed suit. I think he has endured bumps and bruises that typically would have kept him out in previous years to be able to put together probably his best season of his career. In this particular game, he had 12 points, he had 5 blocks, he had 3 steals, and 10 rebounds. That man is going to make a whole lot of money this offseason. Whether it's money from the New York Knicks remains to be seen. I believe he's going to be a restricted free agent this upcoming offseason, but he's going to have suitors. And I really think that our biggest opponent is going to be the Dallas Mavericks. What I absolutely can expect is for there to be a sign and trade. I think the Knicks know that they've put in too much time, too much money, too much investment into Mitchell Robinson to let him go. So if they are absolutely blown out of the water by the rate that Mitchell Robinson is offered, then the best thing that they can do is to sign and trade, all right, and see what you can get back. The absolute worst mistake is to let Mitchell Robinson walk and get nothing from him. Absolutely get nothing. I think we will really be in a situation where if that front office lets Mitch walk, they're going to be under full criticism mode. Okay. Yeah, somebody need to slap the hell out of them. Similar to a situation that happened earlier this week. But we'll continue to be a laughing stock of the league if Mitchell Robinson is not on our roster next season and we are not compensated. But he's here right now. So let's talk about Mitch Robinson as the chopped cheese. That chopped cheese, man, is that thing that's relatively new to the menu, but that joint be busting. So Mitchell Robinson, man, is not relatively new, but he is still relatively young. And he's really emerged this season to be consistent, to play probably the most games that he's played since he's been a New York Knick. He had situations where he fluctuated his style, his weight, his physical makeup. I think he was tired of getting pushed around, and he figured he pushed some people around, so he carried extra weight, and he saw how that impacted his cardio. So he made that adjustment mid-season to slim down, and he got his game back, and we've seen the results, and we've benefited from the results. He's been more active. He's been more available. He has fought through in-game nicks and injuries, and he's been getting beat up, but that's part of being an active center in the NBA. And he's met every challenge, man. There is a couple of players in this league who will give you the smoke, and he's gotten smoked. But more times than not, we go into each game not really worrying about the center position as much as we've done in years past. All right. I really love the emergence of Mitchell Robinson. Honestly speaking, he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite player on this team. It'll be terrible to lose him. But, you know, these players, if you play at the highest level, you earn your pay and you earn the right to go where it is you want to go. So shout out to Mitchell Robinson. My brother, you are the chopped cheese of the Knicks Deli Editions menu. Okay. And lastly, we got the quarter water. Last thing on the menu is the quarter water. You can't have the chopped cheese, you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese, and you can't have a dollar slice. But you got something to wash it down with, right? So with quarter water today, we're gonna go back to IQ. IQ, come back up here, brother. So IQ, man, once again, you continue to grow before our eyes, bro. You know, the Knicks fan base is family, and I think you see that now, man. We're really proud of you. We're really proud of, you know, the young players on this team, man. The work that you put in, we see it. That's why, man, that's why we love on this team so hard, bro. You know what I mean? We really rise strong, and we're outspoken because we are with you while you're down, and we're gonna be, you know, the wind beneath your wings while you rise. But IQ, man, you were the quarter water. The quarter water, for anybody who is new or just tuning into the channel, quarter water is that player that, whether it's in one quarter, really stood out to help us get this lead, or really made contributions throughout each of the quarters. And for this man, IQ, to have off of the bench his first ever triple double in the NBA and the second ever triple double, you know, for the New York Knicks, man, I don't even know if that's accurate. That just seems too, with Clyde and yeah, man, Mark Jackson, that just seems too improbable. But I heard Alan Hahn and them say it, you know what I mean, for the second ever triple double in Knicks history. Bro, I mean, you just continue to be impressive. I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? You control the pace of the game, and it's noticeable. You look so comfortable. I watched that game 2 times so far. You look so comfortable running the point, weaving through traffic with the ball. Your dribble has tightened up so much. Your floater is back, and you use it at the right time, not for every shot. Your leadership, you know, is outstanding. We see the efforts, whether they're during interviews, where you're more serious and you're answering as if you're a leader on this team, and your attitude. You know, I hope that a piece of advice someone has given you, whether it's your family or a mentor in the league or an elder statesman, never lose that joy that you played a game with, because that is exactly what I've been most proud of in terms of the front office putting this team together, in terms of the front office and the coach recruiting the veterans to keep on this team. The spirit and the energy is important, because the New York fans are so passionate, and we're going to be so passionate and outspoken when you win, but we're also going to be passionate and outspoken when you're struggling. And if we see something that is a challenge for us, and I can only imagine how that is if you are the players on the team. So this is why, I mean, we can say what we will about Julius Randle or any other player on the team, but I can't even imagine being the one that is at the on the spot when it comes to that. New Yorkers, we like to think we have tough skin. I can almost, you know, guarantee you that my approach would have been the Patrick Ewing approach, because my personality isn't as outgoing. You know what I mean? So I would come there, I would do my job, I will answer the questions, and you know, every now and again I'll give you a little something. Now, some people may be saying, well, that's what Julius is doing. No, not necessarily. All right. And I don't want to make this all about Julius, because here at Knicks Deli, everybody gets their day. But right now it's about IQ. And IQ, man, your attitude, you know what I mean? Just this passion that you have that spills over onto your game, onto your teammates, the chemistry. Seems like all of the young players are on the same page about keeping your spirit up, really playing hard, playing fast, and really looking at this as their team until they're otherwise notified. You know what I mean? So, IQ, man, super proud of you. You are the quarter water, my brother, of the Knicks Deli edition here on the Sheer Brilliance podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all for the Knicks Deli. That is the menu. That'll lead us to the Nah Son, You Wildin' portion of the Knicks Daily edition of the Sheer Brilliance podcast.
You wild.
All right. So for the Nah Son edition of the Sheer Brilliance podcast, I'm not necessarily going to give it to two players. I'm going to give it to two of my fellow Knicks fans and content creators. All right. So the first
You wild.
goes out to Lee Valentin. That is Lee Valentin, my Knicks brother on Twitter. And a meme that he posted shortly after the Oscars debacle with Chris Rock and Will Smith. Okay. And I laughed at, the meme that he put up because he put up the meme of the what is it, the Vice NBA commissioner. Every time he shows up and the Knicks are waiting for that envelope to unfold. So every time he shows up, you know what I mean, and he pulls that Knicks card out of the envelope and it's not the number one card, he always just looks so extra happy and ready to laugh and hear the responses, and it's sickening. But Lee Valentin, he actually had that picture of the assistant commissioner pulling out the card, and he said, "This is the time when we need Will Smith." So my brother Lee Valentin, my brother from Knicks Nation, my brother, you get the Nah Son, you wildin'.
You wild.
All right. And the second Nah Son, you wildin' goes out to my brother Chris. My brother Chris Persinian. I call him KP. And you can check him out at the Knicks Film School halftime show of every Knicks game. He goes live. He does a phenomenal job. Knicks Film School holds it down always. But for the Nah Son, you wildin' moment of the day, he had a similar meme that I thought was comical. And it was basically Will Smith slapping the couch smoke out of Chris Rock. But the meme caption said, for all of those fans who said RJ Barrett doesn't have a right hand. You know what I mean? So I thought that was classic as well. So once again, check those brothers out. Chris Persinian on Knicks Film School halftime show. But also you can find him on Twitter. And Lee Valentin also, you can find him on Twitter as well. Knicks Nation is phenomenal. You've made this season so enjoyable. I know we are all virtually connected. But man, maybe one day we could run into each other on a train, or one day run into each other at the game. But you guys know that we have the best fan base going. Everything that we do, other teams' fan bases follow. You see it with the crop up and the pop up of channels on YouTube, Twitter, gatherings, all of these things. So shout out to you all. But once again, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Baraka. I am the host. It's Baraka Bashir. But this is Sheer Brilliance Podcast. So Sheer is not spelled incorrectly. It is my name. And it's a nice play on the word Sheer Brilliance. Sheer Brilliance. But I want to thank you for joining me. Once again, please like and subscribe. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Sheer Brilliance Podcast. And join me again, man, this last week. We want to ride out, finish strong, see if we could get these young fellas to play and get ready for the draft, and see what we do, whether we trade. I don't think this is a year that we draft players. I think this is the year where we trade players. So as much as we love these guys, some of them are gone. In my opinion, it's going to either be Fournier or Burks, along with Julius. And depending on who we're bringing in, we may have to trade some people that we absolutely love on the squad. But I'm excited for it, and I'm here for it. So let's see what that is. Once again, I want to thank you for joining the Sheer Brilliance Podcast, Knicks Daily Edition. Keep this in mind. It applies to life as well as our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. And not only are we here, but we got next. Peace.